All right. This is a quick Max Nano reef update. I'm doing this one because it's been a long time since I've done any update videos. And two, I just added some coverage corals to start covering up my rocks. And so this is a good before and after video. This will obviously be the before. But it also shows some of the exponential growth I've had with some of the corals. Of course, the star polyps. Pretty much every coral you see here has grown quite a lot. The bird's nest, not so much. But, I mean, look at the candy cane coral. I think it was, 4 heads when I started. Everything else is just doing great. The anemone, it shrinks up and moves sometimes. It just recently moved, so it's a little shrunk up. But it blows up when it wants to, when it finds a spot that it likes, finds flow. Outside that, things to take note are, I did add for flow on the back here, I added a rotating flow nozzle that slowly rotates, and I have it on a low setting. I don't want a ton of flow. What that's doing back there is it is giving flow to parts of the tank that don't typically get a lot of flow. So right now, the extra flow pump that I had added previously on the right-hand side, I took it out because it was just too much extra flow. It's hard to find a good balance when you add. They just don't make a lot of nano wave pumps. And if it's just too much flow, then, it upsets the corals. So I had to get rid of I can't remember, it was a JBJ, highly rated and reviewed wave maker. But, honestly, in this tank, just the stock flow pump does great. And all it really needed was a little bit of a boost with that back there. And the corals have been very happy, and it creates just a perfect amount of flow. So, I mean, even my SPS up there is starting to explode in all different directions. So the tank's doing great. And I'm more excited about what the video will look like in a few months when some of these monis and, covering corals get larger. And this tank will really start to fill in and look great. Look at that hammer on the left. Used to be tiny. And so, yeah, everything's doing wonderful and growing and thriving well. And so, still cycling, still got some algae that pops up here and there. Completely normal. The tank's not even, maybe it's close to a year old now. But there's nothing I wouldn't expect. It's still a young tank, so you're still going to get occasional blooms. But other than that, the tank's doing wonderful. The only reason you see air bubbles right now is because I recently, this morning, I changed the location of my hammer on the right side. It was getting a little close to the bubble coral and the torch. And so I went ahead and repositioned it further back on the rock so it had more room. And the putty, the reaction of the putty curing does cause air bubbles just a little bit. Outside that, this tank never has air bubbles. So, signs that this tank is finally getting, fully matured. Of course, fully takes years, but what I mean is, really healthy and mature is the filter sock in the back is almost empty every time I go to clean it. There's no algae, no buildup. That's just one of the signs if you use filter socks. I love the Max Nano filter sock because it's almost like a plastic, so it's so easy to clean, low maintenance. But yes, one of the key signs that this tank is maturing well is, there's so little, next to no algae in that sock when I go to clean it. In a newer tank, you'll usually find a good amount of algae buildup and just detritus in the sock. So, any questions, feel free to ask, but this should be a pretty cool video 3 months or longer from now when I go to post and show the growth from the monis and some of the other ground covers I put in here.